Paul shakes Eddie's hand, which is good. They should always encourage each other. Even when your opponent is missing, you shouldn't say anything negative to him. That'll only make it worse. You know he's not missing on purpose, and so he's doing the best he can. So just keep encouraging the man. There's a question here whether or not Joe can take off his long pants and put on his shorts. Morris says a change of clothes is not a change of equipment. If that isn't a change of equipment, I don't know what is. I mean, some guys go home to change their clothes, you know what I mean? See, Joe thought the play was over. Very dangerous thing to do. With this ball, it hangs there. The play is never over. Nobody has yet lofted the ball up. Paul puts in a nice feather touch for a kill shot. Beautiful volley. The thing that amazed me is nobody went for the overhead shot to get everybody off balance, which Joe usually does. At this point of the match, nothing has clearly been established. It really is going to make no difference who wins the first game. What they're actually doing is having a war of attrition. Who's going to be more tired as the match wears on? One team can win the first game, and team will wind up losing the next 2 games. So keep that in mind. As a player, even though you lose the first game, don't get down on yourself. It's happened many times. Joe lost to Freddie Fight the first game. He lost to Eddie Golden the first game. He lost to Paul Previti the first game. And guess what? He came back in all those matches to win the finals and the championship. So keep that in mind. You never know how tired your opponent is. If you're tired, assume that he's very tired. So keep on plugging. Don't let him know you're tired. Just keep on playing. Nice volley, nice volley. It's unusual that Joe should have on maroon shorts and a white shirt, and Paul Previti has on the same outfit. They should be on the same team, maybe. I know Paul won't be confused. What about Joe? Let's see what happens. Albert is playing his game, and Joe is doing a walking commentary on the court. Sometimes he asks himself questions, sometimes he answers. You know what that means. See, there's an interesting play. Had Eddie not hit that ball, the second floor bounce, before the second floor bounce would have hit Joe. Sometimes watch that in the play. If you see a ball hit fairly slowly and you're in front of your opponent, sometimes it may pay to pull the hand away and it'll hit your opponent. You'll make an easy point rather than just getting a block. Mr. Artie Butterhup, your master of food and drink, has just walked by offering blandishments and commodious accommodation in a postprandial fastidious manner, which is usually his want. A veritable concatenation of cacophonic verbal irrelevance. You thought I wasn't going to say that, huh? But I did. My good friend Seymour Baker won't edit this out. He knows the value of the spoken word.
They're too tight. It's not a game. After all match they did.
Benji, the expert, just came over. He, in effect, said he knocked the hell out of Joe and Albert. They're too tired to function. And what's he going to say when they win this championship?
I'll say I was wrong.
Benji will admit he was wrong. Notice he didn't ask me what'll I say if I was wrong. Have you ever known me to be wrong, sports fans? Nah. This is Howard Cosell sitting here at game side watching an outstanding game with Albert Apuzzi and Joseph Durso. They're aggressive, pedantic, obstinate, and if putting all the terminology together, sports fans, I don't know what to say.
How can we improve his attitude?
Seymour Baker correctly asked, how can we improve his attitude? Whose attitude, Seymour? Benji's attitude. Benji's busy counting the day's receipts, keeps promising me a piece of the action, gives me that big smile, which is nothing in my pocket, but no matter what is said and done, he's still my hero. I think the reason Benji didn't win today was they didn't recognize him. He had an outfit on, he had a haircut and a shave, and the opponents thought they were playing some guy who didn't know what he was doing. And he was nice enough not to leave wind. There's an old Irish saying, may the wind on your back not be your own.
Put on the tape that I acknowledge everything I am because of you.
Benji correctly said, everything he is, he owes to me. Now we got to know what that is and who me is. Meanwhile, Louis off to the side playing with himself. Buttons his fly. Somebody says, Louis, your fly is open, and he says, thanks for noticing. As we're waiting for the gladiators to return to the court of combat, we're looking around this vast arena, and we see the master of the poker hand, Steve Zalen. Does he do it with X-ray vision? Does he do it with a recognizable ability to read the idiosyncrasies of his opponents as they look wistfully at the cards? Did you ever notice when Bernie is losing, he's disconsolate, and as soon as he sees a good hand, all of a sudden he perks up, goes for the money, and everybody drops out of the poker game? Do you wonder about that? We're back in the game. We're back in the action. See, one of the problems of these tournaments, having the semis and the finals on the same day, if too much is taken out of the competitors in the semifinals, then they're really not up to par to do much. They're doing the best they can, but you can see that there's a marked degree in the typical skills that they use. There's another issue here. Sometimes a guy, when he's at full par, he's playing really good, he's at full strength, he overswings at the ball. Now, it looks like in Paul Previti's case, having played that last match, a little bit of the edge or the power has been taken off, so his shots are a bit more crisp and precise. Sometimes a guy will be strong at the beginning of the game and miss, then he gets to a certain portion of fatigue and he plays better. Albert made a tremendous running, crawling, scraping recovery there to re-kill the ball. And for his efforts, he sets the ball up the center, and Eddie Golden gets right back, which is what you're supposed to do. Morris Franco would have had it. Oh, he's got it all right, and it can be cured. We're waiting for the score, and Morris says the score is 1-1. All that playing, all that commentary, and the score is 1-1. Eddie Golden hits it out to the left. Morris coming for a little swig of the coffee. The play continues on. That's one of those things, Morris. Unbeknownst to Morris, we've been putting stuff in his coffee. Here he goes. Another beautiful drop shot by Paul Previti into the right corner.
Good lucky shot.
Momentarily, this game should settle down into a nice, evenly contested game. The back team knows it's got to win. The front team doesn't want to go three. Score 4-1. Paul keeps Joe in the backcourt. Joe looks like he's moving up front a little bit faster than usual. Albert is getting a little tense. He's starting to overswing. He wants to do too much with the ball. As I said, his job is just not to make errors. A fellow like Joe Durso is at his best when his partner does not miss. If his partner starts missing, Joe starts missing. Play was stopped. Paul thought it was 2 bounces. Carl Liebman on the short line says he didn't see 2 bounces. Therefore, it's 1 bounce. Therefore, Joe and Albert got the serve. While you're waiting for Albert to serve, try and figure out in your own mind while you're watching, what do you think he's going to do? Where will he put the serve? Do you see any patterns? That's what this game is all about. You establish patterns in some way. You get an idea of what your opponent is capable of doing, and then the next time out, you put that in the realm of probability, and you got a better shot at being able to anticipate what he's going to do. Maybe the way he drops the ball, how he puts his feet together before he contacts the ball. All these are little indications of what a man intends to do in the volley. So take notes, watch these players, see what they do. Maybe that Eddie Golden, whenever he's going to serve to the left, he always turns his head to the right. You got to watch these things. Okay, Albert calls to Morris's attention that while Eddie's hitting the ball, Paul Previti should not say nice, nice, nice. It's a little bit disrupting to Albert. What a beautiful return that was. See, Joe thought the play was over again, and he almost became listless. Nice lift by Albert. Paul makes a tremendous try for it and comes up short. Excellent volley. Joe's a little upset. He doesn't like the way Morris is calling the game. He goes back to drink some Polish water. I don't know what that's been doing with his brain lately, but he keeps drinking that water from Poland. All you Polish fans out there, you didn't hear me say this. They once tried to brainwash the guy. All they could do was give him a light rinse. It was a terrible, terrible thing. Paul was momentarily afflicted with hard of hearing, puts his hand to his ear and hears what Morris murmured under his breath as the referee. You got to be able to read lips in this sport now, in addition to playing handball. Has anybody heard the score lately? Well, we'll wait and see if we can get an indication here. Albert, thinking the blue line was good, found out to his regret that the blue line is out. Sometimes that happens in these games. You appoint referees out of the blue. They don't know about the line. That comes back to a key call yesterday at the last point of the game. The ball hit the blue. The man on the line thought blue was good. He was informed that blue is out, and the game was over. Amazing. All right, Eddie Golden serving. Beautiful serve. Score. 7-1. Score 7-1. The hole is starting to be dug here. Joe doesn't look like he's capable of bringing this out. Can he perform the magic he did in the other games? He was always behind, always lost games. They always managed to come through. They lost the first game to Benji and Louie, 21-7 or so in the first game. They bounced back and beat Benji and Louie. But is Eddie Golden and is Paul Previti, Benji and Louie. Nice try by Paul. A little late. Joe is good at this juncture of the game. He seems to have the ability to move the ball around nicely. The other team may have a false sense of confidence that they're ahead. Then all of a sudden, Joe starts putting the ball in peculiar places. There'll be a drop shot here, a lift shot there. See, he had the shot there. He just missed that one. And even when he's missing, even when he's losing, there's something cooking in that guy's head that brings him right out of it. And he comes back. Albert trying to turn on the steam. Two nice hard shots up the middle. He ends it with a kill shot in the middle. Joe's getting advice from the sidelines from Benji and Louie. Imagine that. The score, believe it or not, again, 1-9. They're down the first game. Incredible. But the score doesn't mean anything. Yesterday, Joe was ahead 7-1 in the first game. During the rest of the game, Eddie Golden served out a double faulted 7 times and still wound up winning the first game. Of course, that was the first game. Joe came back and won the championship. Joe's missing his touch shots. He's not concentrating, but that's the way he plays. It's amazing. On the same type of shot, it'll go in and he'll start scoring. But you got to keep in mind, if 2 guys on the opposite team keep missing, inside the mind of the opponents, they start getting a feeling of confidence. Like you saw in the semifinals, all of a sudden Paul was dropping shots, lifting shots, killing shots. Benji called the ball over. There was a plaintive plea by Albert's longing eyes in that direction, and he seems to have won the case. Benji's still busy talking to Louis on the side. Did he actually see the ball over, or did he respond to Albert's plaintive plea? Louis talking, Albert's talking. Benji keeps turning his head. His eyeball keeps going back to the long line. Will he make another mistake? I'm looking at Benji. He's not looking at the... All right, he's looking at the ball a little bit here. There was really a block ball. Albert took the shot anyway, kills it, and isn't asking for the block, obviously. This is a tough game to play. See, singles, it's one mind against one mind. In this game, there's 4 separate individuals thinking their own game plan. Successful doubles comes down to, can 2 minds really blend to coordinate their plan on the court? That doesn't happen too often. It's not too damaging yet as scores go. It's 3-9.
What was the call? What was the call?
Apparently a block ball. The score remains